Hello guys and welcome to a new video. Today we will be discussing about exceptions. Exceptions in simple words is an error that can be handled by the user or the programmer. We use keywords like try catch, throw, throws and finally to handle exceptions in Java. We generally use the try catch block to handle exceptions in Java, and throw is used to throw an exception, and the finally block is a block that will be executed irrelevant to the try-catch block or whatever the exception occurs. There are two types of exceptions in Java: checked exceptions and unchecked. Checked are the exceptions that occur at compile time, and unchecked exceptions are the exceptions that occur during the runtime. One of the examples for checked exception would be file not found exception, whereas for unchecked it would be an arithmetic exception, or the exception cannot divide by 0, or the array index out of bound exception. These are all unchecked exceptions. Let us now write a program to understand exceptions and exception handling. Let us create a method called public void read file throws, let's say, IO exception. And we have created the method. Now we can see we also need to import java.io or java.io, and let's just import all the classes within that IO. Now let's create a new, say, file reader. Create a file reader. Let's say file is equals to new file reader test.txt. Let's place it in double quotations and let's put semicolon. Let's now create a buffered reader, and let's say, for example, input is equals to new buffered reader, reading obviously the file itself, and then semicolon. Now let's just output everything that is within that file, so we know that input dot read line. Now let us just close the input. Okay, we have created a method to read a file, and we have mentioned that it may throw the IO exception. An IO exception is nothing but the input output exception in Java. Now let us create an example for the unchecked exceptions. Let's just take the arithmetic exception. Let's create a method for public void divide, let's say 0, and let's just write the logic of the code. Let's say int a is equals to 0, and let's just take int b is equals to 6, and let's try to output the value. The answer is, let's say, and also let's just divide b by a. Let's just use the plus here. And basic logic and maths is that we cannot divide any number by 0 because we get an undetermined value, or let's just say an infinite value. So now we have created two methods. Let's go to the main method, and let's create an object of application. Maybe we can call it app, and let's use the try catch block here. Let's just create the try catch. Here let's try the app dot, we have read file method. So we are trying to call this method here, and we are expecting an exception. We expect the exception and try and catch that exception. So let's just say catch, let's say the exception, we know it may be an IO exception, so let's just take IO exception. Let's say it's called E, and let's try and print if we caught the exception. Let's just say checked exception caught. Now again, let's do another try block, and let's try and catch. We are trying to catch the arithmetic exception, so let's do that. So there we go. Let's name it E again, and we'll just say caught let's just say unchecked exception caught. Now we have created two criteria as blocks to run the both exceptions or to understand the exceptions, checked and unchecked exceptions. Now here we need to call the method divide zero. So we can see that here we have defined two methods called a read file and a divide by zero file or a divide zero method. And here we are trying to divide 6 by 0, and in this we are trying to read a file that does not exist, in simple words. Now let's try and run the program, and if we click run, we can see that we print hello world, and we also see that an unchecked exception code. Actually, we can see that there is actually an output from the test file because I already have a file called test.txt in my system. Here we can see that it did not throw any type of exception. So let's just change the file name because I already have a file called test. Let's try this and let's run the program again. So you can see that there has been a checked exception caught. Here we can see that the checked exception has been caught and also the unchecked exception has been caught. The unchecked exception itself is the divide by zero exception. So if I try and print the name of that exception, let's say e.get message, the same for the checked exception. Let's just say e.get message again. And if I try to run the program, we can see that checked exception caught test1.txt. The system cannot find the file specified. So whatever it means is that there is no file of this name. And we also seen that unchecked exception caught. We can see that slash by zero or nothing but divide by zero exception. Now let us try to print the name of that exception. So if I just print E and also the same thing for this E, and if I save the program and if I try to run again, we can see that checked exception caught java.io.file not found exception. This is a checked exception. And the second one would be an arithmetic exception, which is divide by zero. So this is a simple program to understand checked and unchecked exceptions in Java. See you in the next one.